All right, good morning, everybody. I would like to welcome you to the second episode of Web's Webinar Wednesday of this new year. My name is Thijs van Rosmalen. I'm account executive at Webs, and we are working a lot with HubSpot. And today we have one of our experts on digital strategy. His name is Etiënne Love, and we are going to talk about how to turn your website into a lead generating powerhouse. What a way to start your Wednesday, I would say. Before we dive in, Etiënne, and we move over to you, I think it's good to share some of the housekeeping rules of our webinars every Wednesday morning. As you notice, there is a chat function in this Zoom you're all in. So please use this chat function in order to ask all the questions. And there's maybe one setting you need to change, because we would like to address all your questions to panelists and attendees, so we can all get the full value of each other's questions, each other's recommendations or tips we have for each other. So it will be a very valuable hour. So if you didn't say anything in the chat yet, please open your chat pane, change the address to panelists and attendees, and then we're all good to go, because I have the permission to interrupt Etiënne. If there are any questions, go to the chat, keep them coming, and we will make sure we answer everything. Why is today's topic so important? Last week, we talked with Jos Burgers about how to adapt hard times in a commercial way, I would say. And his question was, review your website every month and see how much you tell on your website, how much you want to be visible with that website, and how does this work with your customer journey, yes or no. So Etiënne, welcome. As an expert, how many times per year should you review your website? Is it an ending story of continuous improvement, or what would you say about that?
No, it's just like maintaining your house, or you should update it regularly. You should do your monthly reviews and come up with monthly themes where you want to establish new optimizations. So
never ending, you would say.
It's never ending. It's a continuous improvement.
Okay, and one final question before you get the full floor. If you would say, because you're in the business for a long time as a digital strategist, for especially regarding online for a long time, so you have seen a lot of movement, a lot of developments. What's the biggest function of a website these days in compared to when I started 9 or 10 years ago? It was like a full scope brochure, all explaining, go there and you had all your questions. I think that changed now. What would you say is the biggest role of your website in the commercial process these days?
I would say that the biggest role is to make a human connection as good as possible. So especially now in these times, we don't see each other that much. And people are looking for that human connection to build the trust, to gain trust in possible other vendors or companies they want to work with. So I would say that the main function of the website is to give your company a face that's human, approachable, so that people can reach out to you to ask their questions on how to solve their business challenge.
Nice. And let's dive in to make sure that it will be as frictionless as possible, right? Okay, practical things. I will stop sharing. If you start sharing, let's check if everything works from a technical perspective. And then the floor is all yours. To all attendees, use the chat again. I will interrupt Etiënne to ask all the questions, and he will share his insights. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, so thanks. Of course, we all know it. Probably you're at home right now, and the world has changed, and also the data is showing that. HubSpot shares their data on website traffic towards the 96,000 companies that use HubSpot. And here you see how 2020 has shifted and has a real spike in website traffic. The benchmark is January, and you can see by the end of the year of 2020, the website traffic to 96,000 companies was up by 30-40%, meaning that your website is very important as an outlet towards your customers and potential customers. So ask yourself, is your marketing sales team in full control of your website? And are those customer-facing teams, so marketing, sales, and service, able to tailor the digital experience of your website with information that supports all those people in their buying journey to become possibly potential customers? What you want is that those teams are self-reliant and flexible to tailor the experience for all those visitors coming to your website, free from gatekeepers and relying too heavily on third parties, like, for example, your HubSpot agency.
Etienne, I interrupt you here right away because
Yeah.
I want everybody to use the chat a lot. So maybe that's a good, if you go one slide back, maybe it's a good idea now to ask everybody on this self-reliance and flexibility. If you are full in control and can do everything you want with your website in terms of the client journey, rate yourself a 5. And if you're far away from that and that's your biggest pain today, rate yourself a 1. In the chat pane, I even got a 6 already. So that's somebody who is really happy. So in the chat, 5 if you are really in control and you can add things flexible to your website, or 1 if you're struggling with this all the time. So I see even a 0.5 HN. So a lot of room for improvement there. A 9. So people are really, really, really in control. Okay, so a lot is between 2 and 3. So I think we can have a lot of valuable insights here for those people. Okay, yeah, thank you. Keep using the chat, people.
There's still a world to win, because you want at any moment have the ability to edit, change, experiment, test, rebuild, optimize your website based on the learnings you make on a day-to-day basis from your customers' behavior on the website. Because today's winners have 360 view of their customers. So they see from visitor to customer what their customers are doing on their website. They have the data so that they can provide valuable help at the right moment in the buyer journey, meaning that you give the information at the right moment, at the right page on your website. Because today it is hard for us as companies to sell our products and services, but it's actually more difficult for our customers in their struggle to buy. When B2B buyers make their purchase, they complete a set of jobs coming from problem identification. We need to do something. What's out there to solve our problem? What exactly do we need to the purchase to do? So build our requirements and finally select suppliers. And that journey is complex. Gartner did a research and 77% of the B2B buyers state that the latest purchase was very complex or difficult. And in that problem solving, that completion of those B2B buying jobs, the B2B buyers tend to spend most time researching independently online. So where only 17% is meeting with potential suppliers, meaning talking to you, the biggest part of the journey is researching independently online for answers on how to solve the business challenge. And within that research, 90% of the B2B buyers start and use search to find answers for their business purchases. So if you don't have the customer data to learn which questions needs answers, you won't be visible during the research process. because you don't provide the right valuable answers that people can find and land on your website. And even then, when they are visiting your website, 75% of those B2B buyers will only visit your website once. So you have one shot to show that you understand your customer and their business challenge, and that you have the intention to provide valuable information to help them continue in their buyer journey. While they're doing their research, your website plays a vital role in all those different buying jobs. And that journey doesn't go predictable or a linear order. A lot happens more or less simultaneously. So this is a nice illustration made by Gardner to show how a typical B2B purchase buyer journey goes. And I've emphasized it with the green colors to show where your website as an essential part in a journey. Going from getting people to land on your website in their research, maybe to download a white paper where they get first answers, and go onwards where they share online content with others. They download supplier guides, and they even use it as an outlet for more information for sales reps. So within this whole process, your website plays a role in different stages and in different manners. So you need to have different types of content ready at the right moment, at the right spot in your website to give answers and provide people with the information they need. Because in the end, we already saw it, only 17% will talk with potential suppliers. And they only do that with one or two companies based on that research. The vast majority doesn't contact the other suppliers from their list when starting their research. They narrow it down to the one or two companies that they feel helped and that has built trust in that relationship for helping solving that challenge.
Etienne, we have a question here because really understand the importance of your website in serving the client journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. But you want something in return as well, because it's very valuable in terms for your commercial process that you know who is interacting on all those boxes to determine follow-up or nurturing or whatever. So Jackie is asking in the chat pane, are all the green boxes, is it all gated content, or do you have other best practices here?
Now it's about building trust. And if you gate everything, you don't build trust, because people can't measure the quality of information that you're providing or gain already some insights. So you need to have a good mixture of gated and ungated content. And I would say ungate more and gate the really high valuable information that you have. So that long read white paper, maybe that's yearly review of your market, those kinds of stuff, gate those so that people tend to build up that trust with other content on your website, and they are willing to convert once you have that valuable piece and you ask them for their private information.
Yeah. And in addition to that, Martin is asking, what is trust? Doing business is always about knowing each other, liking each other, and trusting each other. Is that what you mean with trust here?
Yeah, trust is simulating a human connection. So if you show that other people have worked with you, if you show the people of your company, if you show that you care about their challenge and that you share content, people feel helped and it builds that relationship also digital. Like think of yourself when buying something from a web shop. The reviews have a function that determines your decision. You don't know those people, but you have the feeling that you learn something from somebody else in determining if this solution is right for you. And you want to establish that also with your website.
Cool.
So, but a nice upside is that B2B buyers tend to have long searches. As a consumer, we want to be high paced and we want to have find our solution quick. And there's a lot of competition around that. But B2B buyers do long researches in the internet world. So they, in average, they do like 12 searches, going through different websites, even watching some videos, maybe visiting some communities in order to, before they really engage with a website. And the engagement can be reach out for a contact moment, a meeting, a white paper download. So at the moment that that visitor becomes visible for us in our systems. So with all that, you're basically looking to build a high performing sales machine. Because as said, people doing their research online and they reach out only to one or two companies. So you're basically already selling with your website. And if you do that correctly, this is a nice benchmark from HubSpot. You can already measure your performances today. 1 to 3% of those 96,000 companies that use HubSpot convert unknown visitors to known leads. And from those known leads, 3 to 5% becomes customers. So use this benchmark to see how you're performing today and how your website is contributing to your business. And think of that helpful information drives the purchase ease and makes it more high quality sales, because customers who perceive the information they receive from those suppliers to advance their buying jobs, they had a higher degree of purchase ease. So it was they felt more comfortable stepping forward and making the next decision. And once they become a customer, they were 3 times more likely to buy a bigger deal, and also with less regret. So that, yet again, that's the basis that you laid with building that trust that you already did on the website. So your website is the main source B2B buyers use to learn if your company can help them solve their business challenge. Your website should help you learn who is visiting your website and what their behavior is. Also, the business challenge they want to solve. So that's about people. And the website should help you learn how to convert your anonymous website visitors in known leads for marketing and sales. So do you have the process in place internally at your company? And is the technology there? Is your website built with technology that integrates with the technology stack of your company? So that a proper strategy on people, process, and technology forms the fundament that provides the insights for you on how to attract, engage, and delight customers with your website, and determine the activities you're going to undertake with your customer-facing teams on your website. So marketing, sales, and service. At Webs, we have summarized that in the Webs flywheel of growth. So it's about people. Who are your potential customers? Do you have your processes in place to attract and engage and delight them from contacts to customers? And is it built on technology that provides insights on how to improve that digital experience? And it's no consequence that the customer data is at the heart of all that. You want to get this moving, this flywheel starts spinning, and you want to make improvements and implement new ideas based upon customer data. So start with a belly feeling, of course, but then move forward with new ideas and improvements based on customer data that you're seeing.
Etienne, this is a great, you zoomed out. So this is a great approach of the bigger perspective. There are some concerns in the chat. So Natalie is asking, it seems like you need a very big expert team for this. What would you advise on average strategy experts?
No, I'll talk about it a little bit later.
Okay.
First of all, yeah, use a platform that enables you to emphasize your activities. So I think especially the technology part is a big gain if you have a smaller team. If you have the right technology, the technology can help you automate a lot of tasks, make it easy for you to digest on what the priorities are based on your customer data, based on the reports and the dashboards that you're seeing that already are there, so that you can determine the next action. And yet again, I always say there's a lot to do, there's a lot to improve, and there's a lot to iterate. But if you tend to focus on making that connection, so sharing that insight, and you do it with all your heart and your passion and ambition, so you really go out there and be transparent in helping people with information, you will always come up at top. Because still, content for people is most valuable, content in the right context. And content is still number one driver for search engines to place you high in the results. Because if you have that unique information and you share in length about the answers that people are looking for, then you will be rewarded by people and also search engines.
I will have some. I will share some cases in the chat for Natalie and other people to see that even with smaller companies and the right tactic, like with the scale ups we've helped in the past, they can be really persuasive here, and to give ideas that you don't need a 10 or 15 FTE people team. Other question, you say like, okay, engage people to your website. What about the tone of voice or the type of questions you ask? What works the best? The outside in approach, I guess, right?
Yeah, try to zoom out and present the information and how you can help them solve the challenge and your solutions, your products from really from the perspective from outside in. Yeah, keep the self-promotion a little bit to a lower level and start from thinking out of your customer, and then you'll be good to go. And of course, yet again, try to find a tone of voice that fits your company, your company profile, but always try to make it as human as possible. Yet again, look at the big companies, even McKinsey, Deloitte. They are trying to make themselves reachable and not seeing themselves as that bigger supplier which has no face. So even those companies are focusing on a informal human tone of voice.
Yeah, people do business with human, people do business with people. So put yourself in the customer's shoes is what Steve is saying in the chat. And I think that's a great conclusion for this stage. Okay, yeah, please continue. We are almost halfway time. So you know that we keep on track of time.
Yeah, so the customer data is essential basically for planning your new activities or ideas, making prioritizations, testing, building on what you're going to put live, and then learn from that. So this is a scheme that you need to adapt to. In order to make those profound decisions, you need to have trust in that customer data. And trust is established when the company departments can make decisions based on the same customer data. So if your front office, your marketing, sales, and services can fuel themselves and also let data go back and forth with data that's living deeper in your company in the back office, the non-customer facing departments like production, logistics, engineering, and purchase. Because customer data lives in systems throughout the company and throughout the technology your company has. Most companies use 3 types of systems for their technology landscape. So at the front, you have the systems of engagement that facilitate and orchestrate the customer journey. Then you have the system of content that facilitate and orchestrate all the content and knowledge that lives in your company. And the system of record, the system that serves as the backbone for particular business processes. And you see where the shift happens, going from back office to front office. It's at the level where your system of content lives. So systems of engagement are technology used for the buyer journey and the customer journey. Most of them in the ownership of your marketing, sales, and service department teams. You tend to see tools like MailChimp for newsletters, Pipedrive and Vinu for sales, and Zendesk and Team Leader and Intercom for your services department. We also see for the system of content, the technology that you use for hosting all your content and knowledge. There we see a lot of systems like WordPress or Joomla or Squarespace or Sitecore or Drupal. And systems of record, that software that serves as a backbone for particular processes like the CRM, your ERP, your finance, or HRM. There you see like heavyweight tools like SAP, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, and Excel. In order to make those decisions on the who, how, and what we already see from the fly growth, you're looking to integrate those systems for safe back and forth traveling of your customer data between those 3 types of systems. Safe, meaning that you have trust in clean customer data, so that the data that you are having in your systems is correct. And it's essential for you to have the trust to make good decisions. Because if there's friction, meaning the data doesn't go in a good way, travels in a good way between those systems, it can demoralize people in using the systems because they don't trust it. It slows down the process because you need to make a lot of checks and balances and have different parallel processes to make those checks. And it can even corrupt the data so that you don't you aren't looking at the right numbers, which meaning you don't have the right input to make those right decisions in optimizing your digital experience, your website. So you want to remove that friction within the integration of those systems. Because here you see the whole overview. We use a lot of systems and they need to exchange customer data because there is data living in all those tools. And you can experience less or no frictions when these systems are integrated in one platform, or you can make use of native integrations. So yet again, here on the left, you see a typical setup we see with companies. They start out with the marketing hub, for example. They have as a system of content, WordPress or Joomla or Sitecore. And there you need to make sometimes custom integrations, or there is a legacy connection for the data. When using that native platform, you can eliminate the friction between those systems, so you can assure that the safe and back and forth trafficking of those data is good. And typically, you see most companies transform over time. So yet again, if you have a small team, don't start out with this whole setup and change all these systems. Start with one piece at a time so that you can build it up in a proper way and adapt your people, process, and technology within your company to get the best potential out of this setup. So ask yourself, do you have this clear for your company? In what systems does the customer data live in your company? Who is using it? And how is it connected? It's a nice exercise for you to ask yourself after this webinar. Try to see if you can fill this in. And do you have that overview how you are using your customer data at this point to tailor your digital experience, your website, based on behavior that your customers are actually showing? So if you ask me how to turn your website into a lead generating powerhouse, I would say it's crucial to build a fundament for unlocking the full potential of those customer data that lives in your company. Adopt systems that work in synergy for exchange of customer data so that your front office can tailor the digital experience of your customers to their specific needs, and to nourish and harness the data from the back office as a valuable source of knowledge and insights. Those systems should give self-reliance and flexibility to act on trusted customer data. So your 2s and 3s and 0.5s should be at least 4 and 5, of course, because especially for your website, it's important to keep that 24/7 sales machine running and to act on the behavior that you see. That's where the system, the HubSpot CMS Hub, is valuable as a system of content that works for that synergy of exchange of customer data. And it's the platform that you can use to build a better digital experience. It's powerful for marketers. So it behaves like a simple web page builder. So you can just drag and drop elements and build your website. But it's also powerful for your development teams or your development agency to make those good digital experience, to give you the technology to attract and engage people. I would like to share some tactics to turn your website in that lead generating powerhouse. So a few of the tricks that we implement for our customers. First is using first one I want to share is using outcome selling versus future selling. So we talked a lot about it also a lot already today. The whole idea is don't sell your product. Sell the best possible outcome that a customer can get from using your product or service. And that you understand their bigger goal in how they can succeed before talking about future solutions or services. Some nice examples. This is Intercom. They could say we're the #1 messaging platform for businesses. But instead, they show that their visitors are looking to build a better customer relationship. TranspoSafe. They could say we specialize in sealing and securing valuable goods. But then again, they say you're looking to be trustworthy for your suppliers, and therefore you secure your valuable goods. And Ziver, they can say we provide solutions for securing email, future selling. Now they say outcome selling. Safe emailing gives users peace of mind. You don't want to make, you don't want to be stressed about your privacy emails. Another tactic is to tell your story in titles. Why is that important? Because visitors can scroll like crazy. This is me watching the Intercom website, and a lot of people, maybe a little bit slower, but tend to scroll down a page quite quick. And you want to make sure that the message still sticks. So take a look at your website page and see if the titles by themselves tell a story that still sticks also when people scrolling down. With Intercom, it's very beautiful. If you place those titles, it becomes a nice story. Where the customer relationships start here. 30,000 companies use Intercom for growth. And on the left side, I edited some words that you even make it in a good readable story. It's and growth at every stage of the customer lifecycle. So you see, it still is your message on how you, on the backdrop that people are looking to solve their problem, they can learn what the benefits are and how to move forward in their buy journey. Think of launching a why page, where your homepage is somewhat kind of your elevator pitch. The page on your solutions, products, and services is the entrance to in-depth information. The why page elaborates on the core strategic topic from an overall benefits and arguments point of view. I will elaborate on that. The why page has this function to show your visitors that you care about the strategic topic that shapes the backdrop of the business challenges your visitors cope with, that educates on the pillar arguments for their research, and that provides the same holistic view as your company has when considering a solution. I will have some nice examples for this. Preferably, your why page is the first or has a prominent position in your website navigation, because it's the page before you start talking about your products and services. Let's see this example from Ziver. You see here at the top, why safe communication? Because they're saying our customers, and what shapes their backdrop of their business, they're not looking for secure solutions, they're looking for safe solutions. So Ziver tells people, hey, you thought you were looking for secure solutions, but there's even a bigger game you should look for. You should look for safe solutions, for safe communication. So on the why page, they start on giving you that same strategic viewpoint. And if you go down, they say, okay, the pillar arguments to have a safe communication solution should be built on these three pillars. One, it should help you control digital risks. It should enable you to be compliant with the legislation. And it should be easy to integrate in your day-to-day systems that you use. If you have those three pillar arguments or benefits, then you have a good solution for safe communication. And then continuing on that page, scrolling down at that why page, they elaborate on those three key arguments. and helping you with getting insights in those tactical benefits. So one, what does it mean? What are you looking for to be in control of digital risks? Two, what makes it easy for your team to comply to that legislation? And what is important on a good integration when looking at a good integration? So if you have reached the bottom of the why page, Silver has worked to give you the same holistic view as the company has when considering a solution, helping people advance to view other solutions for secure communication. No, we want you to look at safe communication. And now you have leveled the playing fields for considering other solutions. And at the bottom, when you have that approach, then they say, hey, this is how we can help you with safe email and file transfer and safe video call. So it's a really nice example of getting that why page to work in a good manner. And there's some nice gains. It builds trust. You learn something. You really show that you understand the backdrop of your customers, and it builds thought leadership. But don't come up with all your ideas by yourself. Use other companies and the innovation teams of the best and brightest to learn what they're doing. We have small teams. We typically help companies with smaller teams, but there are companies with huge departments iterating their website on a daily basis. So I tend to look at those companies. Here are a few examples, but here you can get inspired on what are they doing in attracting, engaging, and delighting the customers. And what I like, especially about SaaS companies, is that they tend to make it personal, establish that human connection, and they're highly focused on conversion because they don't have sales coming towards you. These companies need to convert you online, getting you from an unknown visitor to a paying customer with only the website. So they tend to spend a lot of research and development on how to get people to become a customer. Learn from that. Always also think of the big giant, Google, and they have also some nice fundamentals on what a good digital experience is. It's very simple. They say it's great content in combination with a great user experience. Great content is relevant information in the right context. So we're talking about it throughout the webinar. That you know when the customer needs certain information and you present it at the right moment. A great user experience means that your website should be useful, intuitive, accessible, and appealing. I will elaborate on those 4 key arguments. Useful, of course, it's when visitors find their information that will help them in their buyer journey. So if you better understand what people are doing on your website, you can make changes on your website that better fits the information that they're looking for. And even like a customer of us, like Vostermans, with the customer data in place, with a new setup of their website, with the same number of visitors, they increased the number of contact requests by 3 times. So knowing what the information when it's needed in their buyer journey. It should be a great user experience, should be intuitive. So it should enable visitors to understand the purpose of a page at a quick glance. Some nice example of an old website. Try to see, is it clear what this page what the purpose of the page is. And here you see the new setup. So the goal of this page was to show which sports we can deliver our products for. So make it easy and intuitive to get that notion at a glance when landing on a page. A great user experience also needs to be has to be accessible. So it needs to be easily to find relevant information. And of course, the first step you do is by creating a clear website navigation. So a nice old example from IBS, where it's not that easy to find the navigation. Yet again, make it easy to start that access to information in an easy way. And the last component is making it appealing. Google wants you to make a design with use of white space, additional visual elements, keeping the design simple and focus on a single goal. So yet again, we have a nice example from TranspoSafe, a client for securing the supply chain, and where we've rebuilt the homepage and said, okay, be trustworthy, secure your valuable goods. See how your focus is on the message. And that's because of the white space that is adapted. The white space is the room that we build in so that you can focus on the message. That visual element gives you a hint for what type of companies this company can help give you a solution. The design is simple, more or less in the way that we use plain and simple elements, and the coloring is also at ease. There's not a lot of going on here. It's green and blue to keep that ease on your eyes and focus on the message. And there is a single goal. So from the header, we want to emphasize on the gain that we can help you with. And if you go down, there's clear focus. Hey, there is a case study where we show how we helped other companies. So to sum it all up, you're looking to build your website with a system of content that enables your customer-facing teams, so marketing, sales, and service, to decide on the right tactics for lead generation based on trusted customer data, so customer data you can trust. If you have that fundament, the people's behavior can be analyzed and can guide you on the tactics you need to deploy, because there isn't one way to go to build your high converting website. If you want to learn from other companies, we also have a few videos on YouTube. Take a look at them, then you can see how we've helped those companies with their website and boost their results. And there are also some videos on that system of content so that you can see how it works and to determine if it will help you drive your website.
Cool.
Thanks. Hey, you have the same jacket. Nice.
Yes, I always do that. I knew you were showing this picture and I was like, cool. Let's make this inception work. A lot of thank yous in the chat, but I will give everybody also a moment to ask some questions. You shared a lot of great insights. Is there maybe one common mistake you see a lot in website usage?
Providing too much information at once. Really ease yourself to build up the story you want to tell to your customers. So that means making choices on what to show and what to leave out and present on a deeper level or a different page.
Yeah.
See it as a journey where people, go deeper and deeper in your website. So yeah, that's a common mistake I've seen: wanting to tell too much at once and stuffing your screen with information.
Cool. All right. Less is more, right? I'm taking a second to read some comments in the chat. A lot of thank yous. You even get more work now with these insights, Edwin is saying, especially to you, Etienne. Great tips. Yeah, we will share the recording. We will share the slides with you. But if you need anything in particular based on your situation, we can offer you something else. Because based on this information, the case studies we have on our website, we have a lot of examples in place, but we can also offer you some free one-to-one time to discuss your specific challenge if you would like. So we will make sure that you can book us via a link. I will share with you now in the calendar, or sorry, in the chat, a calendar link where you can book that free one-on-one with us. It's also on our website, and we share it in the aftermail with you. So use that moment if you would like to discuss some specific cases for your situation, or some deeper questions on this. There's a question, really like views, and I want to. Okay, that's great. So somebody is already using all your tips during the A/B testing starting tomorrow. So that's a great outcome of today, I think, Etienne. I would like to thank you a lot. Thank you for your energy and your time and your insights. I would like everybody to thank you for joining, and see you next time at another episode of Webinar Wednesday. Keep the calendar close to you, because we have a lot of great subjects coming up. Thank you guys, and see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.